Hello friends, this is going to be a music lesson, not a piano lesson, because that would be to act like the instrument is what we're doing. We're using the instrument to make music. When we give instrument lessons, we rob ourselves of having music lessons, which is, in my opinion, why 5% of people play music. All of our ancestors played music. We'll get into that in another video. But all of them, we all have music genes. And 5% of people play is because we're giving instrument lessons instead of music lessons. So on an instrument, we know this is C, and this is D, and this is E, and F, and G. Cool, so we're gonna learn songs according to that, according to the instrument, rather than learning the instrument according to songs. That's the problem. Let me show you. So, let's say we just play like "Oh When the Saints." We think that that song lives here. That's how we're taught. We're taught that it's C, E, F, G. Let's just take that much. We're taught that's what it is. So if I do, I'll do it here. D, F sharp, G, A. I'm not gonna have "Oh When the Saints," right? Wait a minute. Huh? So which one is "Oh When the Saints"? Is it C, E, F, G, or is it D, F sharp, G, A? Or are we just asking the wrong question because we're acting like we're learning an instrument when we really should be trying to learn music? What if we started here? Surely we can't do it. Well, actually by now you're like, well, if we could do it two different places, we can probably do it any place, and that's true. So now it's E, G sharp, A, B. This is getting crazy. What if we started it here? Can we do that? We can. We can start it on any note. It's called transposition, and musicians know it's possible, but then continue teaching music by position. It'd be like having a dance step. This is my little dance step. Now I'm just gonna do it here, and we're not gonna say take a step to your right, take a step to your left. We're gonna name the place on the ground that you're stepping. I have a lot of metaphors for it I'm not gonna give. But all of it is running away from the reality. The way we experience dance is not by locations on the ground. It would be not just an inefficient way, but it would lack understanding. The same way calling "Oh When the Saints" any of these letter names, C, E, F, G, or D, F sharp, G, A, or F sharp, or we could call it G flat, doesn't matter, but F sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp. It's not just inefficient, and that's 3 of 13 ways of spelling stuff, because we can call this 2. There's 12 different places we could start. And really we can hear about 100 notes in between here. You can train yourself to do that. Without training, you can probably get down to about at least 5. Like you can get down to 20%. You can hear easily what 20% of this distance sounds like. And really down to 10, down to 5. You can train yourself down to 1. And if we learned music rather than an instrument, we wouldn't be confused as to how to talk about all the frequencies, all the pitches we can hear in between two notes. It all operates the same. So let's get into it. The piano is laid out like this for a reason. All right, first of all, there's these things called octaves. Every single musical culture has octaves. Most have this same 12 notes in between octaves. This is the 13th note. But even the ones that don't still have octaves. Notice how that basically sounds the same. You could almost think you're only hearing one note. Whereas if we do any other, if I do this, there's no confusion. I'm hearing one or two notes. Interesting fun facts. We're not going to go super deep on the math, but octaves, this one is twice as fast as this one. So say we give this one a speed of 100. This one would be 200. This one would be 50. This one would be 400. Each one is double the next one, right? So if this was 1, this would be 2, this would be 4, the next one is 8, 16. This would be 1, this would be a half, this would be a quarter. Men and women talk roughly in octaves, which is better than if we talked in not octaves. Okay, so our first point is, the piano has 88 keys. A guitar has, you can play the same note 3 ways, usually, maybe 4, but it has less total notes. It still has a lot, but at any rate, we don't have to think like that. We're not really thinking in notes, we're thinking in a movable ruler. But our first goal is just to understand music without doubling anything. We'll double just one note. We'll do that and we'll understand what's in the middle. But we could double there. Musically, it's not any different. The only difference is the instrument, the arbitrariness of how the piano is designed. Not that it makes no sense, but it is totally arbitrary, otherwise we'd only have one instrument. Anyway, our goal is to understand what's going on between this man and this woman. Cool. We don't have to understand the whole thing, just one octave. And although I'm going to start by explaining it here, whatever I say will be true no matter where we started or if we started it in the pitches we can hear in between notes. All right? Our first thing is the octave. This is 2 and this is 1. And when we actually hear this note, any note, we are hearing this note too. It is a softer volume note in this one. We're not just hearing one note when we do this. When you sing, you're not just singing one note. You're singing that note, and that note, and that note, and that note, and I think that note. These are called overtones. I don't have to get into it too much, but that's the fact. And this one, this is 2 to 1. This one's called 3 to 2. There's like 3 waves moving at the speed of 2 waves. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3 over 2. And what is 3 divided by 2? 1.5. So it comes back here. Anyway, that's the 5th. Now the piano has been adjusted to not be like, that is exactly 2 to 1. All the other ones are a little off, so that no matter where you start, it's going to sound the same amount of off. We're not going to get into that, but that's the truth. Anyway, that's 3 to 2. It's the simplest fraction in the universe is 2 over 1. And basically just add something to the numerator and to the denominator. You add 1 to each, and that's how you get the next most simple fraction in math. 3 to 2. 4 to 3. It kind of does follow that. Once you get to the tritone, it's something like 79 over 123 or something stupid. I don't know why. But for the most part, you have the 4 over 3, you have 5 over 6, you have, most of them are basic, simplest ratios are these notes. And yeah, a lot of them come out of just what is in a single note. Okay, we're not going to go any deeper on that, but we're going to go deeper on understanding music. We don't have to know all the overtone and ratio knowledge to stop learning an instrument and learn music using instruments. And then once you learn it this way, you can pick up any instrument and you just go, how do I do this on that? And then you're good to go. So look, this is one. This is a ruler. White note and black notes, they're there for a reason. And they also don't matter. They're there, so if we start here on C, and we call this 1, we're not going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Seems like it would be easy, but the thing is, we're going to not. It's not going to be melodic. What we end up doing is playing 7 notes. Do that, or we play different 7 notes. So because our scales are usually made of 7 notes, we name the ruler 1 to 7. And there's different conventions. Some conventions say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And you just got to know what context you're in. That's not good. Why is it not good? Well, what if there's a lot of songs that will have this as the 3, this is the minor scale, but they'll also use that as like an accidental 3. Or we'll have that as the 3 because we're in the major scale, we'll use that as an accidental 3. We use both. If I call them both 3, how am I supposed to talk about it when that happens? That's one point. Also, we only have to have 12 names. We have 12 things we need to understand in music. Yes, they move, but we have a ruler with only 12 units. Like, surely we don't have to be like, yeah, that's a lot of names. Let's just do 7 and call a lot of these, yeah, but we have 12 things. Yeah, we'll just call a little bunch of them the same thing. Like, that's not good and it's not necessary. So, here's the system that I think makes the most sense. The major scale gets the numbers. Right? Those are just regular numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And the piano is designed to only have 5 black notes so that we can play the major scale from starting on C using only white notes. It's designed for that reason. Now let's get to the first thing to memorize. All that's just conceptual. First thing to memorize is that there's no black note between 3 and 4. Don't confuse that with there's no black note between E and F. And there's no black note between B and C. I mean, literally that's true because I'm saying the word black note. But there's no note between 3 and 4. Right? White or black, there's just not a note between 3 and 4. Between 1 and 2, there's a note. Between 2 and 3, there's a note. Between 3 and 4, there's not a note in between. I call these next door neighbors or adjoined houses. And the other ones are, I either say a house away or there's a yard in between. Right? 3 and 4, that's the first thing to memorize. 7 and 1, adjoining houses. That's it. I'm just asking you to memorize 2 things. Everything else is just follow the sentence that's being made. You don't have to memorize it octaves or 2 to 1. You're not going to forget it because it's interesting, but you don't have to know it. You have to know that 3 is next to 4, adjoining houses, and 7 is next to 1. And again, don't get that confused with the letters being next to each other without a black note in between. That's not what we're talking about. We're just using this arbitrary piano designed around the key of C to show it clearly. But now we're going to do it here. 1 yard away. I'll use yards. 1 yard away, adjoining houses. Yard away, adjoining houses. All right, 3 is next to 4. 1, 2, 3. I need to do this cross. I don't have to. I can use that finger. 3 and 4 are next to each other. There's 4. 5, yard in between. That's 6. Yard in between to get to 7. And now a house away gets me back to 1. Which I can just do it all over again. 2, 3, adjoining houses. 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. You can do this absolutely anywhere. 1. All we needed to memorize is 3 is next to 4 and 7 is next to 1. Later we can have other shortcuts. So I don't have to, if I want to know where 7 is, I don't have to go all the way up and go, oh, there's 7. I figured it out. There's other ways, but this is the fundamental way. This is how we move the ruler. This is how we learn music instead of the instrument. Just by memorizing 3 is next to 4 and 7 is next to 1, anywhere, right? 1, 2, yard away. 3, next door neighbors. 3 is next door neighbors with 4. It's not enough just to go, okay, I understand. This is the memorization part. You can't ever forget it. That's 7, there's 1. 1, next door neighbors to 7, adjoining house. Yard away to 6, yard away to 5, yard away to 4. Don't forget. I mean, you really have to know it without thinking about it. 4 is next to 3, 2, 1. Okay, emphasize it enough for now, but you have to practice it while like watching TV. Like, or really not that, but like counting rhythms, doing 2-hand stuff, like where your brain is taxed and you still have to just go 3's next to 4, 7's next to 1. Like that's what we're looking for with this. Cool. All right. What else? We need names for the things that we haven't named yet. In the key of C, we're talking about the black notes, right? But when I'm like here, this is 1, where's 2? It's not here because it's a yard away. So now in this key of E, this white note doesn't have a name. This is 1 and this is 2. That needs a name. This is 3, this black note, this white note needs a name. All right, so we're not talking about the names on the piano. That's what we're getting away from, right? But I'm going to go back to C and make it so the black notes are the notes that we missed, right? And then we'll do it elsewhere. It's pretty easy. In music, we use the words sharp and flat. Sharp means higher, which on the piano is to the right. Is that one higher? As I go to the right, I get higher. Higher is sharp. Sharp means really 1 higher. right? And flat means one lower. So lower is to the left, higher is to the right. One lower is flat, one higher is sharp. So these notes that don't have names, they're really scale degrees that don't have names. We're getting out of notes and into scale degrees, but sometimes we say notes to mean scale degrees just because it's a shorter word, more commonly used. But if we want to be talking about music, we're not talking about C and D. We're talking about, that's finger instructions, that's instrument language, not music language. So, this is either going to be called sharp 1 or flat 2. Our default language is flat for everything. So this is flat 2. Very, very rarely will we call it sharp 1. We'll get into context later. So you can just know that it can be both, but almost always it's going to be called flat 2, and by default it's flat 2. So same thing here. This is 2, this is 3. When this is 1, movable ruler. This, by default, is flat 3. Yeah, 90-something% of the time, 98 maybe percent of the time, that's flat 3. But it could be sharp 2. All right, what does sharp mean? It's another thing you gotta memorize. It means, on the piano it means to the right, and flat means to the left, but it's really one higher or one lower. So just name it accordingly after the notes that have names, to the scale degrees that have names, right? So 1, flat 2, 2, flat 3, 3. You could say flat 4, but we already have a name for that. A better name, 3. So really you can say there's no flat 4, there's no flat 1, because that's just called 7. There might be a time where it's called, that we call 3 flat 4, we call 7 flat 1, but we're ignoring that right now for sure. All right, so this is 4 and this is 5. What names could this be? Its default is flat 5, but it could be called sharp 4, and that one is the one that we use first. This one will be called flat 5 maybe 75% of the time. But that's a lot less than 98, right? And then we have 5 and 6. This is mostly flat 6, but it can also be sharp 5 quite a lot. Somewhere around the same ballpark. I think I'd say sharp 4 is a little more common than sharp 5, but they're both common. But still, the default is flat 5 and flat 6. The flats are the defaults. This is flat 7. Sharp 6 is a rarity. Okay. There are times where we will start calling things 9s, 11s, and 13s. We'll get to that later. Right now, we don't need to worry about it at all. We have our octave, and we've named everything. And again, if this was 1, then this would be the flat 2, 2, flat 3, 3, 4, flat 5, 5, flat 6, 6, flat 7, 7, and 1, right? This is a movable thing because music is movable. Okay. Cool. One more thing. I didn't invent any of this. I'm just framing it as clearly, objectively correct. Pretending to study music and instead studying an instrument, and therefore not learning music, when the two things are not the same, they're actually almost opposites. One is fixed, one is movable. Music is movable, the instrument is fixed. They're not just not the same, they're opposites. Okay. In order to really learn this, I believe you have to sing it. You don't have to, but it's so much better if you do. You use your voice to guide your fingers. If I go back and do this, I didn't do it at the time because I didn't want to add that to it then, but that "Oh When the Saints" is 1 3 4 5, 1 3 4 5, 1 3 4 5, 3 1 3 2. It was so much harder to do it before without doing that. I had to think about where to move my fingers, whereas when I just sing it, my voice knows how to sing that. It was very easy to learn how to sing it, and it's also by playing with it, it's easy to sing. I can just sing the pitches I'm playing, but my voice learns how to memorize that really quick, and then now my fingers just need to follow it. 1 3 4 5, 1 3 4 5, 1 3 4 5, 3 1 3 2, 3 3 2 1, 3 3 5 5 5 4. I haven't played in a while. 1 3 4 5, 3 1 2 1 1. Right. The singing it is like a direction for your hand to move, and it instills these sounds that we can learn. We cannot learn that this is C. We cannot learn that this is E flat. Research it. 0.1% of people have it, and 0% of people have ever learned it in even adolescence, let alone adulthood. The theory of when you can stop learning it ranges from like 4 or 5 to maybe somebody did it at 8 or 9, but that would be extremely rare to go from not having it to having it. It's like your brain just stops being able to do that. But we can. Well, first of all, we already have the ability to hear a relative pitch. Otherwise, you would not know that this is the same song. You'd be like, no, I have no idea. If you know that it's the same song, your ears are working properly, you already have relative pitch. If you like music at all, if you have any taste in music, if you do not hear music as just noise, you already have working relative pitch. But you can refine it in singing it, singing these scale degrees, knowing these distances from a movable ruler by names that help us make sense of the world is how we improve relative pitch from something that allows us to appreciate music to something that allows us to hear what we want to hear and know how to play it. It's not about the letters. Hopefully that's clear right now. Okay, so, 1 1 7 5 6 7 1 1 6 5 6 4 shit 3 1 2 3 4 2 7 1 2 3 1. Cool. Yeah, all day. But that's with these. What if I wanted to do like, oops, that goes like this. 1 flat 3 4 5 flat 6 5 4 2 flat 7. That's not singable at all. Every time I sing something that has 2 syllables, it sounds like 2 notes. The rhythm gets messed up. It's not doable. So that's why people just will say 1 3 4 5 6 5 4 2 7. And you'd have to say sev there. People do. All right, 1 syllable. People also say, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, instead of 1 2 3. And then they would say like, do, re, I think may, do, re, may instead of mi. This would be do, re, because we already know the numbers as markers for distance. Like how far is 3 closer to 1 than 5? Yeah, duh. Is me closer to do than soul? I don't know. What about may and re? You know, which one's higher, may or me? I don't know. Flat 2 or 2. Like, you gotta learn what flat means, but then once you learn that, you know that flat 5 is lower than 5. It's just a much easier system. But we have this problem. But look, what do we do with 7? We called it sev. Abbreviations. How can we abbreviate flat 2 and flat 3 and flat 5 and flat 6 and flat sev? Maybe you think about that for a second. How would you do it? Maybe. Like my friends do this all the time. I'm trying to think of one that is actually done. Like I told my friend I've been abbreviating hard lately. He's like, you mean abbreviating? But sometimes we abbreviate 2 words together. How do we do that? Like this isn't one, I can't think of one right now, but like say you wanted to abbreviate good job. Just take the G from good and then the rest of job. You mean a gob? Right? You know, think of an example that actually works. But this is something that I've lived in, like atmosphere, this cultural joke, and just efficiency, this Jersey efficiency, as the buddy I'm thinking of likes to say. Flat 2, flew. 1 flew. It works. We can sing it. Now I can really train my brain. I don't have to say 1, 2, 1, 2. Which one's 2? 1 flew. That's the sound of 1 flew. It's Jaws. 1 flew, 1 flew, 1 flew, 1 flew. 1, 2. I usually do, are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? This is flee. Flat 3 is flee. 1 flee, 4, 5, 6, 5. But I just need to get that 1 flee. Can I hear 4, 5? That's how I can, or just 1 flee, 1 flee, 1. 1 flee, 1 flee, 1. We start to memorize these sounds. Each of them has their own name. Pretty awesome. 1, 3 is obladi. Obladi, oblada. 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1. You don't have to play the whole song, you just have to be able to play a few notes after the first 2. Right, 1, 4. All of my examples are really 5, 1. But look how many notes are in between 5, 1. Right, 4 notes. How many notes are in between 1 and 4? 4 notes. So it's the same distance on the ruler. These songs though really go like NBC is 5, 3, 1, ends on a 1. Or bingo is 5, 1, 1, 5, 5, 6, 6, 5, 5, 1. But that, if we're really just trying to memorize the sound of a 4, like Amazing Grace, really goes 5, 1, 3, 1, 3. But we can think of it as 1, 4, 6, 4, 6. 4 is a hard one to come up with an actual 1, 4, but the sound is there. For old acquaintance. Cool, that's another 5, 1 though. What about 1, 5? That's The Simpsons. 1, 5, 5. Right? And remember, we can do this from anywhere. 1, 5, 5. The Simpsons. 1, 5, 5. Or Maria. Cool. What about 1, 5? Row. 5 could be twinkle. 1, 1, 5, 5, 6, 6, 5. But you have to hear 1, 1, 5, 5 instead of like 2001 Space Odyssey. 151, 151. And then what about flicks? I'm actually using 3-1 as my initial one. It's the same distance. Remember that thing on the ruler. How many notes are in between? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many notes are in between? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The entertainer goes 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. There's a few other songs I think go. Another way to do this is to not think of songs. You just think of what's the closest 1, 5, and if you're in the major scale, 3, in the minor scale, flee. It's a resolution. But we can get to that later. 6. When I did MBC before, that was really a 6. That's the 1 to 6 is the same as going 5 to 3. But if you hear this, and you can hear the MBC, it's also a better one maybe, it's not the beginning of the song, but in Somewhere Over the Rainbow. 1, 1, 7, 5, 6, 7, 1, 6, 5. What's the lyrics there? Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, way up high. Can you hear the high? 1 flev. I hear that as part of Für Elise. It goes. It's really not from there. That goes. 5, 5, 5, 5, 2, 4, 3, 1. But there's like 3, 5, 1, 2. I'm skipping ahead. 5, 3, 2, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right here's about to do it. 2, 3, 4, 5. Flev, flicks, 5, 4. There it is. Flev, flicks, 5, 4. That flev to flicks is a 1 to flev. Watermelon Man, I think. I can't play that off the top of my head. 7 is Take On Me. Take on me. Somewhere Over the Rainbow. That's the octave. So now, let's review. 3 and 4 next door neighbors, regardless of where we move this ruler. This is 3, this is 4. This is 3, this is 4. This is 7, this is 1. This is 7, this is 1, right? That's our first thing. Cool. The numbers track the major scale. And then by default, the numbers that we skip, we're calling flat numbers. And flat means 1 to the left, 1 lower. Later, we can start dealing with some sharp numbers, particularly sharp 4 and sharp 5. Cool. We're abbreviating the flat numbers, and we can abbreviate the sharp numbers, like sharp 4 will be shore, sharp 5 will be shive, right? We're abbreviating them so we can sing them. 1 flea, 1 flea, 1. Let's do that. I never did the 1 flea, 4, 5, flicks, 5, 4, 2 flev. Singable. Every time we do that, we are training our brain, not our ears, but we use that as slang, right? We're training our ears. Train our brains musically in a way we never could. It's not that we never could with letters. People can think in 12 lettered languages and understand all of them the way that I'm suggesting we understand the one numbered language. But that's an incredible mountain to climb, and that's the reason 95% of people don't play music, and the 5% that do mostly are confused, are not doing that. They're not speaking 12 lettered languages fluently and knowing all the functionality of every single thing. what they're really doing is when they say C, E flat, they know that that's the minor third. That's part of what they mean when they say it, or part of their awareness when they think it. But we don't have to do that. We can just think, this is one flea, this is one flea, this is one flea. We just learn how to move this stuff around the same way we said 4 is next to 3 and 4 and 7 and 1 are next door neighbors or joined houses. We can now move that anywhere. That's the ticket. One musical language, the one that actually defines music. And then we use letters just to say, hey, we're in the key of B flat. I better know the B flat is there. Otherwise, I'm not going to know where to put my ruler. I'm not going to know where 1 is, let alone where 3 and 4 are next door neighbors. I have to know that. But that's like saying, it's not musical though. It's like saying, we're going to meet in the park to do a dance. Well, I got to know where the park is to do the dance, but knowing where the park is not knowing how to dance. I need to know it if I'm going to dance with my friends. You know, if you're playing in B flat and I play 1, 3, 4, 5 here, but you're playing it there, that's a problem. I got to know where the letters are. It's just not musical instructions. It's instrument instructions. And we can follow instrument instructions and play music, but that's like reading a pronunciation key to speak language and being told that that pronunciation key is the language. That the meanings of the words, don't worry about them, they don't matter. I mean, look, it's C, E, F, G. You still hear the music, right? Yeah, I do. That's why why am I having to make this video? Is because when we say C, E, F, G, we hear the music and we go, okay, thank you. I appreciate the music lesson. It's not a music lesson. It's a piano lesson. And really, it shouldn't even be considered a piano lesson because a piano lesson should be a music lesson. It's a means to music. All right, that's a long video, but it's a pretty good foundation. Still scratching the surface of where we want to go with all this, which is exciting as shit. And showing it on the guitar and the saxophone and talking about rhythm and talking about chords and really getting into songs and improvisation and composition. But it starts with understanding an octave really well and how music is movable. And we need to think about music the way it actually is and adjust our understanding of the instrument to the music. All right. Thanks for your time. See you guys. Bye.